Hello, good morning. Welcome everybody. Good morning, Sunny. Make sure everything's working here. Music's still working, we're in between songs, but should be able to hear me. Yay, Sunny contributed some of his points. Thank you, Sunny. We should be above... Yeah, we're at 87% now. We're getting close now. I put in DPS's 2,000 points this morning as well, so we're getting there. It says I said it, so we've got 14 days left, but that should be plenty of time to be able to get all the points we need. I know I've got 2.5. Oh, I got 2.9 K on DPS's side, so I've got almost 3K again. So I'll be able to put 2K in on Wednesday, and then hopefully by Friday I'll have enough to do another 2K. So I've got at least 4 in the next 3 days, so we're getting there. I know Matt is not fun. Gave out gift subs last night. I don't know. Does it tell me who he gave them to? No, it does not. We had a hype train going on last night. He did give 5 gifted subs, but I don't know who they went to. I know one of them went to the DPS channel because I didn't get ads after that, so I was like, whoa, that was good. I think I was looking at where the analytics for it, overview, revenue. The gifted subs, like those 5 gifted subs gave me like $10 in revenue. Prime sub is like 2. Paid sub is 3. So like it's a good chunk of money for some of that stuff. It's very interesting. Trevor is mean. You are not wrong. But he good friend. Hey, Bishak, thank you for putting your points in for our treat. For our peppers. She's getting excited. She knows it's coming. I'm having night terrors. Lol. You mean night Trevors? That was one of the best things that they did in that exotic mission, was put him in there. You can't get away from him. I mean, there's ways you can get away from him, but when you first meet him and you're like just walking through and all of a sudden this giant red paper shredder is coming at you, yeah, it's pretty terrifying. It's a fun. I clipped my reaction of Trevor pulling a fast one on me in the DPS, and oh, nice. Did you post it in the DPS channel, or did you just clip it on the channel? I mean, in our Discord. Tahoe was in the tower, but you could hear my panic and death. Yeah. Hi, Ghost Guy. Hello. I should have streamed myself because I screamed and quit the game through my control. That's funny. Look, Trevor is scary. He is scary. Not gonna lie. What was your first reaction when you met Trevor in the exotic mission, Ghost Guy? I think for me it was a lot of oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Also, this is not a PG stream, just for anybody who didn't know. Besides being terrorized by Trevor, how is everybody doing today? How's the fiance, Ghost Guy? I'm still waiting on my invitation to the wedding. Not PG, I'm gonna say the F word. Yeah, do it, Flip. Oh. I think the first time I met him, I was at the door waiting for it to open. I was just like, oh no, and dead. Yeah, that's the other funny part is like if you don't know about the mechanics about opening those doors and you're like, oh, I found a switch, and then you run to the door and you're like, oh crap, there's another door. And then you realize that there are four like security lock doors there. And Trevor can go all the way in there and smush you. That's pretty funny. I tagged Beachcheck in the Discord with it. Nice. I didn't know about the switches yet. Oh, so you were no doors open at all. That's funny. I was so afraid Tahoe and Alex were going to leave me in there. No. The door took... You already had your experience with Trevor, so like, if it was your first time, yeah, we would have been like, okay, go down this hole, go out and, explore a little bit, and then you would have gotten mowed over. That would have been your first experience if I was there. But, yeah, no. You'd already been in there, so you already knew about the terror that was lurking in the shadows. Ooh, I gotta show you the new car. Ooh, yeah, I want to see. Did they end up saying that they could fix yours, or was it too much body damage or too much damage to the frame that they couldn't fix it? I would have thought to leave him to listen to his reaction. That's exactly why you do it. They totaled it. Yeah, I had a feeling like the way it looked, it was like, I bet you $10 it messed up that frame. Either that or it cost too much to repair everything. I actually had never seen Trevor before that time when we did it. Oh, interesting. They gave me $34,500 for the car. Did you have it paid off? No, I think you told me it was a lease or loan, right? But I picked up on it pretty quick. That's funny. That's a good mission. I like that one. I was paid in cash. Oh, you paid in cash. Okay. Yeah, I want to see pictures of the new car. Let me see. Let me open up my Discord. Yep, there's pictures here. Ooh, you got a smexy one. God dang. You got a Toyota. Another two. Nice. I like it, Picasso. Is it electric? Or is it hybrid? Is that a hybrid? Always paying cash for cars, no loans. Yeah, not all of us are bankers and have the money for that kind of thing. I sent them. Camry XSE with all the bells and whistles. Yeah, it's a hybrid. Okay, yeah, I thought so. I was like, the airflow intake was way smaller. I was like, it's got to be a hybrid. Oh wait, but Reconstruction, the perk that brings ammo back when attacking machines. Oh wait, that was the time rewind rounds and Reconstruction was goated. I was at the Toyota dealership last week getting Mrs. Tahoe's car serviced and stuff like that, and I was talking to the service rep there, and I was like, oh yeah, my Tacoma is almost, it's 5 years old now. I thought about maybe trading it in and getting one of the new hybrid Tacomas, and he just looks at me and just slowly shakes his head and be like, don't tell anybody I told you this, but don't do it. He's like, they're not there yet. The first generation of this type of model on this frame, he's just like, it's got a bunch of different little issues with it that just kind of being a pain in the butt. But like with most things, never buy the first one that comes out. Shoot, my son bought a Nintendo Switch 2 day of, and the dock on it died like 3 days after. We had to send it to Nintendo to get a new dock. The Switch 2. Problem is they want all of them as hybrid. Okay, so Mrs. Tahoe has a RAV4 hybrid, and that thing kicks ass. Like, when you need power or you need to go fast, that thing goes. Like, it's no joke. And it essentially doubles the gas mileage having both those systems on board too. So normally she would have 300 miles per full tank of gas. She gets 6 or 590, something like that. So like, I would want that kind of terrain and that fuel economy and stuff on a Tacoma, but I just don't think the systems are quite there yet for that frame yet. I'll be interested to see what they do in the next year, the next couple versions of it. It was one of those things like, even when we're driving it around, she's like, even if I'm low on gas, I know worst case scenario, I can always drive it on the charge. It would be slow. You'd be like in town kind of driving, but it would get you someplace in an emergency situation too. Sorry, but they also switched to only make 4-cylinder engines for the most part. Yes. But that's the thing, is like when you have the combination of the hybrid and the 4-cylinder, it works pretty well. It was deconstruct and rewind mods. Okay, yeah, there you go. Will the turbo them in the trucks? I have, even on my 2000, they have, I don't want to say it's like a turbo, but they call it like an extra, or, so you can it's a hydraulic assisted gear shifting that you can engage on the Tacoma, and it basically just boosts the whole system, which is nice. But then you're burning more fuel too to get that extra hydraulic assisted part of it. Definitely gives you the get up and go when you need it. But that little gas gauge then goes, and you're like, oh no. I would assume that your XSE is probably got a lot of power in it. That thing probably flies. Little Camry, little low Camry. I'm surprised you didn't go for the new sexy version of the Prius that they basically made it look like a race car. Sounds like sport mode. It's very similar. Sport mode will suck the gas, yeah. And it's very touchy. Like when you go to put on the gas, it jumps. Like it definitely, the assistance you can definitely feel. You with the screen, yeah, only you can help a furry friend get a treat. Give your points towards a furry friend. Only you can help. Yeah, see? Sunny, thank you for that. Oh, we got some jazzy music now. What song is this? Dang. Lost in the moment. Shoot. I'm back. I couldn't get it to the right part of the stream. Sunny, I'll try later. It's okay. We can find it. All right. Should we start working on some stuff? Should we do some things? We have a little bit more of like an introduction stuff. It's more of a hello, I'm Tahoe kind of start to our stream today. And then we'll get into actually working on setting up for book 3 stuff afterwards as well. That is the plan. This will be interesting because normally when I'm doing little projects on stream. I'm looking back and forth between chat and what's going on Illustrator and stuff like that. But we'll see if I get really into depth on doing illustration work and stuff like that. We'll see if I miss on ad breaks and stuff like that or not. I tend to get carried away sometimes. Yeah, I bet that Camry flies though. The hybrid system is pretty cool. I do hope at some point they get to those. There's a different battery technology that even if you puncture it or cut it or slice it or whatever like that, it doesn't explode into explosive, fires. The really bad ones that we've seen recently. I forget what they call the battery technology that they were talking about. Solid state. If they get closer to the solid state batteries, that would be nice. Because I think the full electrics are a good idea. I think it's still very similar. It's that early adoption phase where we've got a bunch of them, but they need to make a lot of tweaks and changes before they're in a really good state. I gotta get lost in this moment, everybody. That's what the song is saying. Okay, now that we got our little fun talks in and out of the way, let's do a little hello. My name is TahoeaAnime. I am the author and illustrator of the Stitch Tales book series. Let's swap over to our website real quick. Here we go. This is my book series that I am working on currently. This is the website for it, stitched-tales.com. And these are my 2 books that are currently available out in the world. These are, you can pick these up just about anywhere because I publish through Ingram Spark, which is one of the major publishers here in the United States, and actually one of the biggest ones in the globe. These are available just about anywhere that you can get a book, from a shop, an online retailer. Even if they don't have it in stock, they have access to be able to get it in stock if they want to, or order it for you. The books are print on demand, so it takes them a little bit longer. So like even for Amazon, you won't get that 2-day shipping unless they're having some crazy deal where they buy a stock of them or something like that. But most of the time it's 3-4 days for these to print and ship out, because they have to print them after they are ordered and ship them. But that's who I use for my books and stuff like that. I can actually bring up their page so we can talk about them a little bit, or show that. These guys, ingramspark.com. I'll talk more about stuff like this as we go through streams and everything else like that, because these videos are going to be on YouTube as well. So just kind of, I'm going to try to talk about what things I know and things that I've run across, the research that I've done, my journey through publishing through Ingram Spark, why I didn't publish through Amazon KDP or some different resource. But yeah, that's kind of the idea, is kind of talk on those things. If people have questions, they can ask them in chat as well. I will try to answer them as best I can. I am not an expert in all of this stuff, but I have successfully done it twice now, so I have some knowledge of it. The systems are not that hard in certain ways, but and I know it's different for picture books compared to novels, but the how you access all of those things is very similar in this. So yeah, not too dissimilar from each other. Continuing on our stitch-tales.com, we have our link to my Instagram where I post all of the updates and stories and stuff like that of things that I'm doing and working on. So like this week we talked about starting work on book 3. So, oh, thank you, Bishak. Oh, thank you. That's what I forgot to turn on. Aha! I was like, I know I'm forgetting something to turn on here real quick. Hold on, we're going to turn on Firebot, and then that should work for all of those commands. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that would have meant when we did ad breaks, it would not have done it automatically. I have to remember, turn on Firebot instantly before stream. We're getting there, we're getting there. Sometimes I forget. Reveal credit card info. What? No, don't do that. Reveal social security number. Okay, now we are activated. So anybody who wants to use the commands now, you should have access to the commands. Yep, there we go. Look at that. Even went back and is starting to pull a bunch of those commands for you, Bishak. Ha-ha! That's funny. Okay, there we go. Now we got our list of commands up on the screen, so we can keep going with what we're doing. For anybody who's interested in my book series, the web page is up on the screen, or up on the in the chat as well, due to those links being finally taken care of. All of this information is up there. I have to get a set of book reviews for book number 2 up here, but I have reviews for book number 1, which released last year. We also have the ability to preview part of the book as well, and it has flippable pages that you can flip if you're using a PC. I think you can do it on your mobile phone as well, but just samples of the first few pages of the book. And I believe it goes all the way to the back, so you can read the backs as well. That's for book 1 and for book 2. We have a little video about some of the stuff that I built into the first book, and our Nevada Humane Society, which is here in my area. I also have a list of different vendors that you can purchase my books from as well, and it kind of gives you a breakdown of what each of those vendors means in the long run. So when you buy a independently published book from somebody, depending on how they price it, depending on how they put it together, there's a lot of little pieces that are in the way of, or in the setup for that as well. Where like customer buys it, that comes from the retailer, who comes from the printer, who comes from the distributor, and the shipper and the publisher, and so like it's not a direct, you buy a book and the money goes to the author. There's all these middlemen in between that all take a cut of the price. So one of the things that I did early on was me and Mrs. Tahoe went to the bookstore, and we looked at kids' books, and we looked at, the difference between quality and different things. And we actually had to do it again recently because we're going to have to make some changes to the price of our book, unfortunately. But try to figure out a fair price for the product that we were producing, and figure out what that means for our pay, right? How much we were going to get paid per book. And when I first published the volume 1 of my books, I was making about 65 cents per copy that was purchased online. So if you went to Amazon.com and bought a copy of Stitch Tales Book 1, I was making 65 cents from each sale. Why is that? Because even at a $17 book, which we had priced it at, we have to give discounts to each of the people involved. So like the retailer, Amazon, they want a cut, so they take about 20%. The distributor, which is the company that actually sends it out or makes, all those connections and makes sure it all works, they take about 20% of that. And then there's the printer's cost and all of that. So once we get down to the end for an online retailer, it was about 65 cents. Since publishing the first book, Ingram unfortunately had to make adjustments because paper prices, ink prices, everything has gone up. So I make about 32 cents now per online book sold. So it's an in-between thing where it's like, wow, that's not very much, but at the same time, like I'm trying to keep the price of the book reasonably priced so people, it's not too much for them to be able to get their hands on. But I also know that like if Amazon sells it and then all of a sudden 10,000 people buy it, that's thousands of dollars right there, even if it's 35 cents. So it's knowing that there's a huge audience on Amazon where they have millions of people that come there and shop and stuff like that. So if something does take off, it can mean a bigger profit in that. Because that's how their scaling works for their business. But it's not going to be a huge difference for me on my end for low yield purchases and stuff like that. But it's available, so small price to pay. The other thing is in-person events are a little bit different. So it cost me about $10 and some change to buy the book out myself, or buy a box of the books and ship them to myself, and then I can sell them myself. So depending on what I do with them, if I sell them at an event myself, then I'm probably going to make about $7 per book, give or take. Probably $6 and some change because of that. So like the markup for that, or the cut that you get is definitely much bigger, but then the amount of people that you can sell those to is much smaller. So that's the trade-off for that. You get a bigger chunk of the pie, but you also have a smaller audience to work with. So each retailer has their own little thing, and I try to kind of like document those things out so people who want to purchase the books, they are informed about who they're buying it from, how much of it actually goes back to the author, and stuff like that. So you can see our partnership with Thistle and Nightshade Bookstore over here. If you buy through their online store, their bookshop.org, it's about 34 cents, but if you buy from them in person, I get about $2 per book. So that was the deal that we worked out, which is a good deal. It's definitely more than 34 cents. So, and then we get to help support a local bookstore, an independent bookstore that helps out a lot of local authors and stuff like that. So it's just been really good. And we've been very fortunate to be able to go and do events there for them as well. So it's a good system to be able to support each other in that way. Some of the other ones we have on here, this is a new one, the Sierra Arts Foundation. Same thing as well. They have a couple books on hand at their store. If they sell them, I get about $4 per book. Just another community building place to be able to get books out there and stuff like that. So it's a good little spot. Then we also have Barnes & Noble and Amazon. Those are the two online retailers where I'm only going to make about 34 cents, but they have 1 billion customers, so there's always potential to hit something and then it just exploding kind of thing. The last one we have on our list here is Ingram Spark itself. So you can technically buy copies of the book from Ingram Spark, but it's kind of, this is a new system that they just came up with, so it's kind of janky a little bit. It's kind of funkalicious in certain ways. If you wanted to buy a box of them and then resell them, like, this might be a good option for you. I actually have control over this price as well, so I can set these to be able to, if somebody's just like, hey, I want to buy a box of these and put them in my shop, whatever, I can be like, oh, cool. Let me put this down to like $12 or whatever, and then you can buy a box, and that'll offset the costs for those things. The only problem with this is that you can't do returns, no pre-orders. You can only find the link for this here. So, like, it's not a great setup yet, but it's their first attempt, and they're getting there. So, hopefully it'll be good at some point. Next thing up on our docket is libraries. So, one other thing I'm definitely working on is trying to get more libraries to be able to carry my books so that, you know, more kids can hopefully find them and check them out and read them and stuff like that. Here in my own Reno, Nevada, I have the first book at the Washoe County Library. I've been working on trying to get them to have the second one, but they're having a lot of financial issues due to cuts and stuff like that, so I'm not sure if they'll be able to take in a lot more books or anything. So I definitely let them know that I would be happy to donate to them, but I know they're working hard with what they can right now. So, but the other library is the Whitney Library in Las Vegas. Super cool librarian works there, Mr. Billy. He put out a call for independent books authors on, I think it was on Threads is where I saw it, which is like Instagram's version of Twitter. But yeah, he was just like, I'm building this independent book collection. If you have one, please send me books and I'll put it in there. And he was very happy to be able to put both of my books in there, which is available for all of his patrons that come into the library. So that was kind of cool. Super good dude. We also have on the page events. Events are another big thing that I'm trying to get more and more into this year. And we definitely have more events coming soon. So if you are in the area, this Reno Tahoe area, definitely check back here every once in a while. We will have more information as we get closer. There's a couple events where I can't speak about yet because they asked us not to put information out quite yet until they get their media departments up and put stuff out there. But yeah, as soon as I have more info on events coming up, they will be right here. We also have events that we've already completed, things that we've already done. Author's Day at the Reno Public Market, summer reading shindig at Thistle and Nightshade. I was even on the news at one point, for a good reason, not a bad reason. This time. We're not going to talk about last time I was on the news. That was bad times. Anyways, hi. That's exactly right, Sonny. I'm also done author signing events, and also did an event at the Washoe County Library for their local author fest back in 2024. I'm hoping they're going to do a 2025 this year. I don't know if they will be able to. We'll have to see. But And then lastly on the page here, we have our links to our Printify shop. And our Printify shop has a bunch of different things on it. We've got, let's go to the full shop real quick. This is just me playing around with different products and making shirts and stickers and mugs and all kinds of different things. My daughter wanted pajama pants, so we made her pajama pants with little wizard buttons on them. Mrs. Tahoe wanted a little sleeping set with buttons sleeping on them, so we did that. So this is just me having fun, making some cool stuff. Little heavy-duty mat. This is actually in our house right now. We use it all the time. Fun little shop ideas. So if you have any ideas on things that you would be interested in, please let me know. And then last but not least, social media links. These are really tiny. I have to change that at some point. But links to me and a bunch of my other work as well. So you are currently here. I am TahoeaAnime. This is my personal website for artwork and different things. So we're gonna go through this a little bit here too. It says welcome. Links back to the page with my books on it. Easy. And then some of the artwork projects that I've worked on over the years. These have been kind of fun to do. I think the one that's probably the most relevant to right now is this one, The Secret of the Old Beaver Pond. So back in, oh god, what year was that? A long time ago. I think it was 2007 or 8. I had a teacher when I was growing up that his wife was writing kids books, and she was looking for an illustrator. She had worked with some other illustrators, but she had a new idea for a new book that she wanted to do. And so they got in contact with me, and I worked with her to do all of the illustrations for this book that she wanted to do. I think this is actually the second book we did together. And I did all of the hand drawing digitally on the computer for this project. And this was my first foray into publishing and understanding formatting and how to package all of my graphics together so that they can be printed and turned into books. This was a fun one because not only was this book is still available on Amazon and stuff, but our author, Miss Susan Bruno, she actually took a lot of these books, actually printed them out and took them to Honduras, and she donated them to a lot of the schools over there so that they had, books to be able to read. And there were paperback ones, so they were cheap, but they were a way for her to give back to communities and stuff like that, and that's what she did. So, and she did it with a bunch of different book projects that she made. So I was just fortunate enough to be able to be a part of this one with her. So if you're ever in Honduras and run into a little elementary school, you might find one of my books in there with my name on it. So. But some of the other projects that I've worked on, I've done some stuff for Extra Life. This was a long time ago, the Seattle Children's Hospital. This was a gaming one that I put together. It ended up being a t-shirt, and if you bought the t-shirt, the funds would go towards the Children's Hospital, so that was kind of fun. Another off-the-cuff kind of one was I met Craig Hardgrove through playing a video game, playing Destiny 2, and podcasts and meeting people, and he worked at NASA, and they had their Mars rover. So there are two Mars rovers. One is on Mars and one is here on Earth, and they use the one on Earth to test solutions. Like if there's an issue with the one on Mars, they pull this one in and they try to test out, okay, if we want it to do this to fix this problem, what does that look like? And they'll send the commands to this robot and it will try to do it, and they're like, that didn't work, so they'll make adjustments to it and stuff like that. So this is their sample here on Earth. And he got in contact with me and was just like, hey, I see you're making this cape. Can we put it on the Mars rover and take a picture? And we'll it'd make it like a fun little Destiny 2 art piece kind of thing. And I was just like, you want a piece of my art creativity on a piece of NASA technology? I am in. I am all over that. So I have a piece of my artwork that has touched NASA spacecraft, which is really cool. I really like that one. That one is a fun one. I've also done a bunch of other different work for costuming groups. This was a Halo costuming group that I had done the original revamped logo for them, and then they ended up taking this kind of design and doing a slightly better version of it. But they had to get permission from me to use kind of similar stuff too. So that was kind of cool to be like I was on the ground floor or something cool, which was fun. Warlock School was another project that I got to work on, podcast, doing graphics for and stuff like that. The Good Coughing Morning Show, if you've ever been over to Sage's streams, I think it's Sage Makes now. That is also one of our commands in our list as well. Super good dude, super fun dude. Yeah, we did not get a Skinny Pop Popcorn graphic, no, because they never contacted me back, unfortunately. But lots of different projects that I've worked on, podcast logos and stuff like that, bombshell jackets. I do a holiday card for my gaming group and stuff too. So, and this is just like some of my favorites that I've worked on over the years. But there's definitely way more things. We may get into that on our second hour of the stream for sure. If you want to watch this stream live, it is on here. Look at that. Even Sunny's little comments right here. Skinny Pop Popcorn. Popping up right there. The next part that I think I want to go into is my DeviantArt portfolio. I have, let's see. Yep. He's got the little, thank you, Sunny, for that. Appreciate that. I also have my Printify shop on here, which is some of my other artworks and stuff like that. Fun things that I've put together. Let's see if you need a Tacos Are Therapy sticker, I have those available. Ooh, I do need to order my iron-on patch though. Just a few other little fun things that I was testing out when I made my Printify shop. So those are there and available. And then some information about me. This is me. Hi, I'm Tahoe. Let's see. Born in Reno, Nevada, raised in Truckee, California. The Reno Tahoe area has always been my home. After graduating from the University of California, Davis with a degree in art studio and a minor in communications, I went back to work in the construction industry to support my family, all while continuing to hone my art in my spare time. That's an accurate statement. I worked for a company for about 10 years. And then I went and did handyman work. I've been doing handyman work ever since then, off and on, but doing artwork and my artwork and developing my books and stuff since then. I've always loved creating art from the first day I could hold a pencil, but it was during my middle school when a friend of mine showed me my first episode of Gundam Wing that I found my first love. I'd always been fascinated by technology and mechanical artwork, but it was my introduction to anime and manga that inspired me to finally focus my artwork in that style. So you can definitely see the influences on my artwork for sure. Let's see. I've worked on various art projects for friends and colleagues over the years, including a NASA rover, Destiny 2 cloak project, t-shirt design benefiting Sierra Children's Hospital, and illustrated a bilingual kids book shared with children in Honduras. Those are the ones we talked about earlier. But these are my social links that people can find me at. And then if anybody needs to get in contact with me or has comments, questions, even about any of the stuff that we've got going on stream today, You can either leave a comment in the videos and I will check those out, or you can message me directly through this link, through this portal. So we also have a link to my video game group, which many of these fine people in my chat right now are a part of. Mr. Sunny Ruth, B-Shack, and Mr. Ghost Guy. If Weird Mr. Alex is here, him as well. But yeah. That is kind of a rundown, the base rundown of who I am, what I've been doing for the past almost 20 years now. I think it definitely, this is the shorter version of it. I kind of cut out like the early days of me doing artwork from age, what age can you hold a pencil? Artwork has always been a part of my life, so like having to like choose a few of my favorite pieces over talking about everything is always hard, but there's so many more things out there that I've done. There may even be some artwork in some of the houses that I built over the years in Truckee, California. So if for some reason, someday down the line, a bunch of houses get knocked over or get taken apart, there may be TahoeaAnime scribbles and sketches and drawings in rafters in buildings someplace. So go look and find them. Good luck with that. The other thing, let's see, how are we doing on time so far? We're at 55. Let's wait on this part. We'll go back to home for a second. We're going to talk about a bunch of other works and stuff that I have on my portfolio here on DeviantArt, but we'll do that after our first break here. Lots of heavy information today. Just kind of laying the groundwork for people, kind of like episode 1 being like, hi, this is me. This is the things that I've done. Get to know you kind of thing. The funny part is like even doing these kind of streams and stuff like that, I know how I will have to revisit some of these as if people show up to the streams and come in and check out and want to learn more about, process and things that I'm doing and working on. But like, I'll have to reiterate a bunch of this, but I like having the space to be able to get a bunch of this stuff kind of out right off the rip. I know I told Sunny like weeks ago that this kind of episode was coming at some point. Well, here you are. Here you go, Sunny. Today's the day. I did a thing, which I need to make into a t-shirt at some point. Well, let's double check. Yep, everything's going good. Today is also the first day of school for my kids, so both my son and my daughter went to school today, so it's been a very eventful day for sure. But I'm hoping this will be the beginning point of, working on our illustration works and stuff like that, and hopefully people enjoy it and like it, and we can go from there. I definitely got to figure out some more ways to promote it to get more people into streams and stuff like that as well. Let's just make sure nobody's... Okay, yeah, we're good. All right. How's everybody doing otherwise? You're doing okay, right, Sonny? You're at work today? Or you're hanging out? Let's switch back to this for a second. Okay, I've returned. Quick sidetrack. Had to plug in the iPad just in case so I didn't lose it during stream. Alright, we are about 2 minutes away from our first ad break. Make sure, yep, Firebot is running. Everything looks good. For anybody who is new to the stream or hasn't been around, we have every hour we run 3 minutes of ads. It's a break time for me. I work a lot on my standing desk, so it gives me a chance to run and check on our furry friend Sora, make sure she's doing okay still. And then it gives me a chance to go to the bathroom, grab a drink, grab a snack, do something like that, and then come back. And then during that time, we pause whatever we're working on, or if I'm discussing or talking about anything, and then we start up after the ads are done and we come back. This way y'all don't miss anything, especially if you have questions. I don't want to, if questions come in on chat, I don't want you guys to miss any of the answers, so that's the main reason why I do that. And then if you are subscribed to the channel, then there's also a little one-on-one time with you and me that you can get. You get a little behind the scenes of me slurping on my drinks or something like that. It's ASMR time is what it is. There you go. You get 3 minutes of ASMR time. Just me heavy breathing into the microphone. I think that sounds fun, right? I think people would pay for that, just to listen to me breathe into a microphone for 3 minutes. Alright, we're getting down. We're about 20 seconds out. And depending on how the ads run, because sometimes they're fast and they start right away, and sometimes they're not fast. So it just depends. But we'll have a banner that pops up so that you know what's going on. That's also why I kind of preface it beforehand so that people know what's going on and it's not a surprise or shock or something like, oh, where'd it go, you know. Try to let you know. Gives me a chance to make sure everything's running correctly too. Okay, we're just waiting on those ads to pop up now. I could make another scene that it switches to as well. That might be fun to do. I'm always looking for ways to improve the stream and make it a little bit more fun. Try my best. So yeah, see, today's ads are really delayed for some... Oh, there they are. Hey, we did it. We made it to the ad break. Drink time! Alright, I have returned. Look at about minute 30 left. Today we did not do the orange juice. We instead went with lemonade. If you hear the little clinks of the glass, that's what you're hearing. Ice in the glass. Because you can't have lemonade without ice. Ooh, a big stretch, yay! I need those.
Sunny_Ruth says big stretch.
Good call, Sunny, good call. Ugh. I think that's my favorite one, by the way. Oh, it does help me remember. I know people have like drink water and stuff like that. Those are good ones too, but I like the stretch one. Do a little calisthenics. Wow, didn't say that right. Oh. At some point, I'll have to do a picture showing all of my setup here, so you guys can see what this all looks like, what the battle station looks like. Computer setup, basically my little hole in the wall that I work in. It's a good little place. I need to get my 2 more streams done. Have to do 2 more with at least 4 people average, and I think I'm done with my requirements. Ooh, nice. Let me know what day you're going to be on so that I can help with that too. I have at least 2 accounts that I can sign in for to watch for you. It is the least I can do. That's the thing. Hopefully with this stream and subsequent for everybody, is the idea is to help each other out, right? You need people to show up to help get you to affiliate, then yeah, I want to be there. This week I'll be on Thursday, since I didn't change my day off around for the org event. Okay, perfect. Because Thursday I'm generally not doing anything, so I should be able to pick up on that. I don't have my own stream. That's the other thing. I need to remember this when we get to the end of this stream today, is to check to see who's available to raid. I want to raid people with our followers too. And I know Sage isn't running today. Otherwise I would raid him. I don't know if he will be at that time, but if we do get the opportunity, we will definitely want to raid some more people. I know. I wish I had like a group of people that we all kind of raided or did our streams around the same time, so we could just like trade our raiding parties around constantly. That would be super fun. That's the dream. Someday we'll get there. We got to start at the bottom though. All right. So everybody should be back from ad breaks now. Lots of time in between, little fun conversation. Would have done it last night, but wasn't very exciting last night in Star Citizen. No, that's fine. You know, and games are that way, where some days they're just not very exciting. It happens. I know. I've been streaming for DPS channel for, gosh, I don't know how many years now. I'd have to go back and look when the first video went out. Just box moving simulator, you know. Alex has told me that at some point me and him are gonna have to do a DPS stream where we just go through my vault in Destiny 2 and just delete so many things. It's just going to be deletion simulator is what it is. Do we keep it? Yes or no? You know what I might have to do is I might have to set up, do it on stream and have it do polls, like keep it, don't keep it, that kind of thing. I can't, I'm a hoarder. My vault is so full. Yeah, it happens. It just does. I want to keep stuff that I'm attached to, but everything else because I'm like not using 99% of everything in there. So yes, Dreamer making polls to let everybody decide. Yep, she's gonna be so busy if she helps out with that. That'd be so much fun. But yeah, let's look at some more artwork. Does that sound fun? I want to go through and show you guys some of the stuff that I've worked on throughout the years. It's a little bit more about me and my journey through my time being an artist, for sure. We'll check out the gallery. We're gonna go way back in the machine here, all the way back, hopefully to the beginning. Yeah, here we go. Way back in the day. Let's see, does this give us a date? A year? Yeah, look at this, 2006. Almost 20 years ago now. One of my very first early digital works that I put together. I think I had this is my first tablet. And we're not talking like iPad tablet. We're talking about the old school blank. You had to look at the screen and then draw, not looking at it kind of thing. That type of tablet. Had the stylus, the old school stylus on it. Very first works back in the day. And then we can see kind of a progression, trying to get more into this anime-ish style. Definitely doing some other, like this is from a show called Gasaraki. Definitely a fun anime to watch. Tried my best to get into, faces and stuff like that. Not very good at that time. Not very good. It's kind of a weird. Gasaraki is kind of a weird one a little bit, but it's like paramilitary mixed with some occult, traditional Japanese, stuff like that. It's a really cool show. I also got really into photography for a little bit, and this is when I started building scale models of stuff, and I was fortunate enough that one of my great-grandparents had a bunch of old train model equipment. So I was working early on with trying to make perspectives look kind of fun and interesting by using these, like they had fake telephone poles, and using this like dirt pile to make this character look much bigger than it actually was and stuff like that. So a lot of exploration in film, photography, framing. I think this is probably one of my favorite ones with this little tower in it. Just a cool little shot that I put together. But then, using some of those for hand-drawn artwork, pencils. These are pencil sketches, these two, as well as this one. Which led me into bigger art pieces. This was a great big one that I had put together at one point back in 2006 as well. Yeah, 11 by 14. Trying to expand. This was during my phase when I was still trying to fit into the art studio kind of genre per se. So like I've experimented with a lot of different things, whether it be hand drawing, painting, coloring, digital photography, even more stuff as we get moving up through some of these other pieces and stuff like that. This was an old cover for an album for my brother that don't know what ended up happening with that, but that was a album cover that I put together. This character that I was trying to develop, wasn't sure what to do with that. And then we moved into college work. So these are like late high school pieces. Now we're moving into college where I started to have to take painting classes. So we had huge canvases, and one of our assignments was to paint the canvas. You can put whatever you want on it, didn't really matter. But this was like 1 week that we had to work on it. And then by the next week, we had to paint over top of it. So it was an impermanent canvas. So you can see part of like some of the stuff from the previous one is in here, but it's been painted over. And here I just went kind of like geometric, just kind of splashes of color all over the place. So like every week it had to evolve and change into something different. Another one, you can kind of see some of those old colors back behind it. We definitely went from bright colors to definitely muted, way down colors, and more scenic approach on this one. But that was kind of the journey through oil-based paints and stuff like that, which was kind of fun. We also have some digital works that I worked on, a couple pieces here, some more sketches. We also have some, I think this was gouache, a different type of painting medium that you could work in. Gouache on board. That was a fun, interesting, this one also as well. These are not watercolor, these are gouache as well. Just a different type of material to work with and figure out how to use and make different things come alive. From there, we move on to printmaking. So one of the classes that I got to take during this time was, this was linoleum. I think these are linoleum. No, this one is not linoleum print. So these guys are linoleum prints. You can tell because they have the little cut marks in them. So this is like dug out in linoleum and then printed on a sheet of paper. So printmaking, different medium, kind of similar idea. You can do stuff like this where you layer a color underneath and then put black over top of it, and you kind of get effects based off of how you set up your printmaking and stuff like that. So like these are the basic printmaking concepts where you're just using a knife or blade or some kind of tool to cut out these little marks, and then that whatever is high enough on that linoleum block, that receives the ink, which then gets transferred to your printed material, your paper. So, and any words that you put on have to be written backwards, otherwise it doesn't come out correctly. So, all challenge, trying to figure out how to make the style that I wanted to work with or work with this medium that was very traditional in a lot of ways. From there, moved into like black and white photography. Here's a picture of Mrs. Tahoe back in the day. This is one of my favorites. Just a cool photo. Trying to understand the difference between light and dark and how each of those two things play together. All of these experimentations and a lot of artwork, art styles, mediums and stuff like that all lend themselves to understanding a little bit more about, for me, in the production of my books and stuff now, how all of these things work together, how they all kind of reference the same thing, right? Here's some more. Ooh, this one was fun when we were doing black and white photography. I learned how to just slurry some of the film material, the exposure material on there, so it gives this kind of cool like flaming effect on the photo. Kind of really blasts it out. Just kind of a fun little experiment that was able to mess with and do. Next part of this one, probably my favorite project that I got to do that inevitably failed at the end. So one of the classes that I got to take at UC Davis was God, what do they call it? It was an etching class. So we had giant stone tablets. They had to have been like 20 by 30, like they're poster size tablets. And each student received these giant, like 6-inch thick stone tablets. You would go and you would pick your stone or whatever like that, and you could work on it. But you would essentially do a chemical process with the stone to apply a material to it, and then you would erase the chemical processing off of certain sections. So like all of the stuff that's white, you would want to remove. So you had a couple options. You either scraped it off with a razor blade, or you had other tools that you could use to take the material out. And essentially it would leave you with an image that you could print off of by etching the stone with more chemical processing. So this was one that I had put together where I was drawing this mecha over top of this old hotel, and I worked for weeks and months on it, getting it ready. We got down to the end, went to print it, and it refused to print. It just did not. I ended up getting a couple like pseudo prints out of it, but it did not want to behave in any way, shape, or form at all. This is a litho, that's what it is. This is a lithography reduction that I worked on for several weeks that disappeared once I started the chemical process. Yep, there it is. Lithography. Here it is. I was able to, let's see. Oh yeah, it's 23 by 30. Hey, I was right. I was able to take photos of it, and that's what I produced this image off of. And I was sad that I couldn't get any prints out of it, because it was probably the most detailed thing that I had ever done up until this point on that big of a scale. So it was definitely something to behold, a big, cool project. And then got into some other projects for, drawing, sketching, different materials. This is me being bored during school at some point, making some weapons, trying to work on character development. And then here we get into another type of printmaking, which is called, I think this is hard ground etching. That's what it is. So these are zinc plates. So we had to go buy a piece of metal zinc, and create artwork on it by putting our drawing on it, and then using chemicals again to etch into the metal. And then once you put it through the printing press, it would press the black ink onto the material, onto your paper and stuff like that. So these were some of those experiments in that. This one was an interesting one, very much like the painting, where you had to start with a design, print it, and then on your next one you had to take that same design and do something different to it, and enhance it, and then print it again. So it was a piece that kept evolving, and you had to do more and more to it each time. So the second half, I figured out how to remove this part of the etching and reveal like these mechanical parts underneath, and then gave those more dimensions. So there are like 4 versions of this that came out that was kind of cool for this type of etching and stuff like that. So, and then from there it was different, more etchings. This was another cool one where we actually get to use color with etchings, where you put the color down and then you put the print over top of it. But just kind of messing with lights and darks, doing a lot of different things. Definitely fun. From there, it was moving into sculpture. So I started working on, these are kind of our own little art shows that we put together. And I wanted to make a mechanical arm, like a little small representation of what the actual size would be. So I made these 8.5 by 11 prints, which I turned into a giant poster on the wall. And then I made this small wax figurine of that hand down here. And I was so close to selling it to the art department, or the art gallery that was in UC Davis at that time. I got a letter from the art director, and he was just like, hey, I would be interested in buying your piece. And I go and talk to him, and he's just like, I'm willing to offer this amount. And I had talked to some of my other professors and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, well, I'd be interested. Well, this is what, I was thinking for this. And he was just like, I don't know about that. I was like, well, what, and he was talking to me more, and he's like, no, I just want the wax figure thing. I don't want the other parts of this too. I just want this part. So it ended up being kind of a funky deal where he wanted something very specific. I probably should have just done it anyways. But it just kind of felt incomplete. It felt like the whole installation was the art piece, and he just wanted a piece of it. So it didn't feel right at that time. But that kind of led me into more sculpture work, trying to build my own out of foam, these little mecha characters, having another gallery for stuff like that. More paintings, more print work stuff. These are definitely ones from the lithos that I did. Some colors, some non-colors. Just some fun that I got to work with and mess with in college. But yeah, this is the end of our senior show that I got to put together and do. All of my artwork that I had worked on up until that point. Definitely fun. And then I got to work on my first book with Susan Bruno during this time. So she had another book that was called La Fiesta, The Party. Another bilingual book that she donated to Honduras. But yeah, so I got to work on this one and then the second one. And that kind of set me up to be able to do my own author and illustrations once I got to a couple years ago. But this one was more painterly in the style, for sure, where the next ones became slightly more graphic design-ish style, which is kind of where I ended up with my style for my current books. Here's another big litho that I tried that ended up not working as well, that I took pictures for. Just kind of trying to mix, realistic world stuff with this little itty-bitty chain down here on these bricks, and this giant mecha robot as well. It's me trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what I wanted. And here we have the start of TahoeAnime.com. This was the early days of what my website looked like, and how I kind of ended my college years here and slowly moved into working on digital artwork and blending different hand-drawn stuff with digital colorings and stuff like that. So I also had some fun for a while doing Halo stuff. So this was my name before the change to Tahoe Anime came in. I was Metal Nemesis back in the Halo days. But just having some fun, trying to explore, figure things out, figure out my style. I also started getting into woodworking a lot. So I started to do little projects around for family and friends and stuff like that, building boxes. Let's see if it'll go the correct direction. What's the next one? Nope, wrong way. Nope, not gonna go. Those kind of things. It's kind of during my time when I started doing construction work, started doing some more woodworking projects and stuff too. Some digital paintings and drawings. Started making my own costumes, my own Halo costumes at that time. Just kind of kind of continuing our work through into the digital age of artwork and stuff like that. A lot of this stuff. Started my own YouTube series. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you are on the channel that I started Out of Work Spartan on. So if you want to go back and watch those old episodes of me running around as a Spartan that was out of work because the economy crashed, which was relevant at that time, because that is when the economy crashed and I didn't have a job anymore, 2009. You can go back and check those out. Those are available still. Lots of episodes, lots of fun little props and things that I put together for that, which led into me getting a job at GameStop back in the day, and being able to put together some events where we got to actually have some of my creations at the events to promote games and stuff that were coming out. So lots of Halo stuff, more costumes, for sure. Got into the cosplay stuff a lot. Tried my best. And then, oh wait, do we not have, did I skip over it? Oh, here they are. We have our first instance of Patch and Buttons, the characters from my books. So these are the first iterations of what they look like back in the day, back in 2008, right before my son was born. No, he was already born, he was after. So I had the sketches of these characters in a college, probably not a textbook, but a binder or some type of something with a lined paper in it, but I had drawn them a long time ago, and I finally digitized them in 2008 and tried to use them for like website things and figure out different ways that I can use them. But this is where they came from back in the day, with their little feet here, their little standing up versions of them, the little chunky guys, little fun chunks. That's where they first came up, and then you can see this was a contest that I won for Bungie All-Stars Week 15. I won by putting together this little cozy coop, which I did not paint. I actually just digitally changed it to green and added these things, but I did make the little warthog out of a spool and stuff like here in the front and glued that onto the front of the cozy coop for this, and made the little gunner stand on the top. But that is Mr. Jerf in the cozy coop right there with the little Halo helmet that I made. Just chilling, just hanging out. Won me a contest. It was fun. Here he is again. He's holding up a bunch of our little plushies that we made back in the day. They were just kind of fun to do. Look at that little scamp. But you'll see them pop up every once in a while. I tried to win a contest for Starbucks. Didn't end up working out. They didn't end up picking my stuff. But I tried to blend a bunch of artwork together. It was alright. It wasn't great, but it was alright. Some more Halo stuff. Built some more weapons. I tried to do some, I wouldn't say mass production stuff, but I got into like molding and creating my own stuff. I think some of those videos are also available still on YouTube as well. But like you can get a preview. Like they were made out of foam, and then I would cast them in a silicone mold, and then make a resin version of them, which I believe is this one. Yeah, this one, a big solid resin version, big and heavy. But prop work, got into Borderlands 2, did some prop work for that, finally hit my Destiny phase, and started making my own Destiny stuff. Had some knives that I had at one point that were cast that could be sold and given away and stuff like that. This prompted a email from Deej at that time, being like, hey, you're not making any money off of these, are you? And I'm like, no. He's like, cool, you can keep doing it then. And I was like, thank you. I didn't want to be in trouble by them at all, so made my own little ghost. Put it together myself. Here is the cloak that ended up going onto the Mars rover. It was a special thing that we put together, and then we auctioned it off for charity. Gave it a really nice home, which was cool. So somebody out there owns a cloak that was on a Mars rover. Did some more cosplay stuff, some more digital works, started to get into more graphic design elements here. So like you can definitely see where this shifted into what I started working on with my books. Even like this Dungeons and Destiny graphic here, you can see the line work and stuff, very similar to what we have now with our Illustrator document here. Very similar. Heavily influenced. Still working on woodworking projects. This was one of my favorite ones that I put together, where I was able to find all of the parts and pieces for the Transformers Ravage. It's one of their old toys. So I actually went through and made all of these dowels and pieces, and it actually works like the old Transformer toy itself. So all of these pieces flip out and turn into the Ravage, but when it goes back together, it looks like a cassette tape. It's kind of fun. And then it made a little table and stuff that it all went together in, which was perfect. Little glass top on it. That was a cool project to work on. Now we're moving way into the graphic design phase, where I started doing a lot of work for other people, a lot more Destiny stuff, still some Gundam stuff here every once in a while, but definitely worked on a lot of the stuff. Got to work on a cover for a book for one of my friends in my gaming group, Rachel. Her book Expedition, Decra 926. This version of the cover didn't end up being used. She ended up making her own off of it, but this was a fun little digital painting that I got to do on an iPad for the first time. So that was a good one. A lot more graphic design stuff, podcasts, lots of fun stuff, more giveaways and launch events, graphics that I've gotten to work on. Then we move into doing some more drawings, getting back into a little bit more drawings again, still heavy graphics. And then this one is our LED panel that I put together for my outdoors, my front stoop. Definitely like hand cut all of this linoleum vinyl to make this little light box so that we can put LEDs behind it and do all kinds of fun stuff with it. Make little slides. Holiday stuff. Did some cards for my group. More graphics. Brought back some of my old sketches. Worked on some of my own sketches. Definitely, like, you can definitely see, like, I did a lot of graphics, and I went back and reposted all of these onto DeviantArt so that I had made sure that I was cataloging all of these things that I worked on throughout the years and had some fun with. Some more Gundam stuff, a lot more Halo stuff, these cards. Just kind of working my way until we get to April of 2024, when I started to talk about working on my first books. Which has kind of taken over most of my feed for a lot of this time, where we start talking about the book coming out and what happened afterwards and all the different things that I started working on, a bunch more Destiny stuff, and then getting into where we are today. These are the most recent ones. with the launch of book number 2 and some holiday stuff, and we are all caught up now. So there you guys go. You guys got a brief, not so brief history of me and everything that I've worked on over the years. Places where you can find me and information about, things that I've done, and currently where we are at with our book projects and stuff like that. So there's the long version. There's all of the things for you to be able to judge. You can judge me now. You feel free to judge me on all of the things. But thought it was a good idea to go back and kind of introduce myself, show all of the stuff, talk about, all the different things that I've done over the years. Very long, 20 years of working on all kinds of different things, all different types of things and stuff, just to lead to this point where we're getting ready to start working on illustrating book number 3. But yeah. All right. Let's go here for the moment. Now that we got that done, let's make sure we don't have anything on Canva that we need to pull up at the moment. Nope, I think we're okay. Adobe Illustrator. Okay, so what time is it? We're at 1 hour and 40 minutes. Okay, so we have some time to start talking about some things while we're getting ready for the next phase of stuff. Let's bring up Let's bring up this. Okay. First thing up on our docket is layouts. One of the things that even in my recent meeting with the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators, we have a monthly meeting that I go to. One of the things that was a question that somebody had asked was how do you set up your books so that you can write and illustrate and stuff like that. And our lovely host or guest host at that time pulled up her version of this template and showed it off. And I was lucky I had my copy there too to be able to show what it looked like. But this is that went way too far. For anybody who's interested in working in children's books, illustrations, and stuff like that, this is your basic layout mock-up for your stuff. I have some extra stuff down here. Don't worry about that for now, but can I turn that off? Yeah, I can. Okay. This is your basic layout, right? So for me, I chose 32 pages for my stories. Why 32 pages? If you do any kind of search or talk to any illustrators or any book publishers, any agents, anything like that, they will tell you 32 is the standard for most books. You can do more than that, but 32 is if you produce all of your books in 32, you'll basically be good with that. Nobody's going to bitch and complain about it. It's what they want, essentially. Past that, you have to do everything in multiples of 2. So if you want to add more pages to this, you'd add 34 or 36 or 38 or 40 or something like that. So every time you want to add more, need more pages, you have to add 2 pages to your spread in order to make this work. The other part of this is that when you're designating your story like this, you can see that there are 2 pages here that are no print zones. So the way books are printed, they have 2-page spreads, right? So if you open up a book, there's a left side and a right side. But in order to insert that into a cover, you have to have 2 pages that get glued to the inside of those books. So that's essentially what these no print areas are. Some printers can print on those. Those are specialty ones. Those are definitely like, I'm talking like bare bones, self-publishing style. These are no print zones, right? Those get glued down. You don't have much option with those ones. At least for my case, working with Ingram Spark. Unless they have some kind of premium thing that I don't know about. It helps hide the edges of their prints on the inside. So when they fold their covers over, that's the glued one that comes down and covers up those folded edges. So that's the front one. This is the back one that does that. Past that, so that's your number 1 page. It actually starts on this right side. And then from there, your layout is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this is your layout for your spreads, your 2-page spreads. And that goes all the way until you get to 32, which is, again, all by itself. So this is your basic layout. And I've turned this into a template on an 8.5 by 11 sheet that I print out for myself so that when I want to go out and about, or if I'm working kind of remotely, these are available to me where I can start detailing out things that I want to either image-wise or I have little captions at the top. So if I have a concept for the story and I want to get from here to 32, I'll start plotting out the plot points that I want to hit, like our main character wakes up in the morning, things happen, blah, 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 blah. This action, something bad happens here, blah, 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 blah. We have a resolution of that, and then we move into the final part of the story. So I use these little caption bubbles to kind of get an idea of what's going on. And then I actually use this space sometimes for little drawings if I have like a real clear idea of what I want the action or the thing to happen on the page or what it to look like. And they're going to be super rough. They're not going to be detailed. But for most of this is what I'm writing my story on. So this is not the same for every author, illustrator. So everybody does this a little bit different. But because I'm such a visual person, I write my stories here. I actually put my speech bubbles on and structure it out that way. So let me see. I have a. Let me see if I can take a picture. I have one on me at the moment. We'll get it posted up on the stream here shortly. You guys get to see what this is from book. I believe this is from book 1. Yes, this is book 1. That's a cool part about working on the computer and stuff like that I can do these fun little additions of stuff on the fly. I didn't have to pre-plan this. Okay, so doop, doop, doop. This is what book 1 looks like. We'll make it fit so we can talk about it a little bit here. We'll embed it. Okay. So this is what my book 1 page looks like that I detailed out for myself. So you can see it's a little bit different because I ended up changing out how it works, but the same idea works, right? So pages 2 and 3 are the copyright and the title, those two, and then 4, 5, and onwards are where the story comes in. So make sure you're always leaving space for your copyright and title page. Those are important to have. A lot of different authors, illustrators do it differently. There's definitely wiggle room to make that work. This is just more of the traditional style of doing it that I put together. But yeah, you can find 100 different combinations of what this looks like for sure. But you can see I have the copyright, the title, and then I just word bubbled out the things that I wanted. I had the actions or the things that I wanted to be going on, and then I just kind of worked on trying to figure out what each of the bubbles were going to be. And you can actually see I got to the middle and I didn't really have anything. I didn't know what I was going to put in here at that time. So I'll show you the final one that I ended up digitizing on the computer here after we look through this. But yeah, you can see each of these pieces where I wrote out the actions and stuff. Let me grab number 2. Huh? Mrs. Tahoe's here. She's talking to me. Let's see. I want to delete that. Take a picture of number 2. Let's send that over to the computer. Huzzah! We'll pull that in as well. This way we can talk about it. Okay, so here's the back side, the second half of it. You can see a little bit different than what I originally had, what I have on my new template, which I was able to update and get more precise on what I was doing. But you can see that, like, continue on with my word bubbles all the way. Still have a couple pages here where I wasn't sure what exactly I was going to put in. But then I used these extra boxes. So I have these blank ones here. They don't have any numbers on them. These are my extras. So if I think of something like fun or funny, or I have something in my head that I'm like, oh, this would be fun to say or find a spot for, I use these as my extra spaces. And sometimes you can see how I put numbers in. I ended up rearranging my story to fit these other word boxes in the way I wanted to. So those ended up going into these spaces over here. But yeah, basic, simple, that's how you lay out. I think most companies that do publishing and set up those type of with agents and stuff like that, they have some sort of this that you probably need to use, work on, come up with of your own. If this is of interest to anybody, even just having my layout, I would be happy to put it up onto my DeviantArt page, which you can then download for free. If that is something that you are interested in, just let me know in the comments, and I will do that for sure. Okay, so the final lookout for book 1 looks like this. So we went from being blank and doing these paper versions to then digitizing out all of this and making sure the spelling is correct and doing it this way. So you can see we have the new template, we have all of our information here, titles. We don't have to worry about the copyright because that's just all done afterwards. But you can also see that there's a couple little actions here that I wanted to make sure got done. That there is a section where our main character is sleeping, and the action that starts our entire book here, where we get to find his name, is when this little button falls off and bounces and rolls away. And then, yeah, we have little sound bites that I put in for stuff. So just kind of giving a rough idea of what's going to be happening in each of these pages and stuff like that. So you can see how I denoted that the white boxes here are for the people telling or helping to tell the story. And then the darker colored ones here are the character. This is our main character Buttons talking in his voice and hearing what he's thinking and stuff like that. So this is the structure that I use. I ended up moving my extra pages in and using them in different places, so I ended up not having too many extras. I had a sunbathing one, which ended up using in book 2, but yeah, this is the setup that I use for doing my different books and stuff. So since this book has been out for almost a year, there's no spoilers on it or anything like that, so if you would like to check this out or look at each of the individual frames, I'll go through here and just see. It's very simple. Like, this is, compared to most children's books and stuff like that, this is very not very word heavy. Let's just say that. This is very graphic, image, drawing heavy in comparison to other books. Move down. Basic things, we'll go through it. Adopting a kitten is a big responsibility. It takes lots of work to love and care for an animal. There are so many, how do we choose? We don't. They choose you. And this little cat, mew, which that should actually be gray. Did I press the wrong button? That should be that color, because that's him talking. Oh look, this one has a little triangle on his chest, and it's talking about our main character. Hey, he can do tricks. I think he's the one. Yep. And that's how our story progresses. We're there. And then we move over to our second half, which I believe I don't have denoted on here, the halfway point. I think I read it in manually now still. But, we move through our pages here, and then we get to the end where he talks about, his new adventure and his new family and his new name. But you can see some of the mechanics stuff that I put in for this book. So we have some repeating, I'm gonna call them mechanics, which is like a video game term, but that's kind of way I feel about it. Where we have these little narrations at the bottom, where our main character finds his first sleeping spot in the house, right? So we start off with this nap location found, and then we subsequently have these titles underneath a few of the other actions that he does and completes as he's exploring his new environment. So little stuff like that where you put in these wordings and stuff like that so that you kind of have an idea of what's going on. And then if I need to, I can always put in titles and stuff at the top. So I went from having them up here, which I probably should go back and grab these and put them onto this form, but I have not done that yet. So, but this is basic layout, putting together for your stories. Let's see, where are we at? We're getting close to ad break time, so I'm not going to go too heavy into too much more on this first one, because we're going to take a 3-minute break shortly. Give me a chance to get some more lemonade for sure. And if anybody has any questions or is watching and just has anything they want to put in, please feel free to let me know. You can say hi, you can say that's terrible, this is brilliant, you're a crazy man, any of those things, that works too. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, feel free to use any of those as well. I will try not to cry on stream next time. If I can. Yeah, let's bring up, we'll just put this one on the screen for now so that we get an idea of what this layout looks like. And we'll hold on from there. We'll keep going. Because we got to do, the thing is like with these streams and stuff like that, we have to talk about some of this stuff up front. And then hopefully if people come in and start watching streams more, then they can ask questions, and I'll have to talk about some of these things, which is totally fine. But kind of upfront getting some of this stuff just in case people want to watch the first couple episodes of this and get an idea of what's going on. So this is all pre-production stuff before you get to Ingram Spark and the actual publishing part. So this is all getting your book together, figuring out the words, doing those kind of things. Most other authors will put together some kind of script. Like I said, since I do things a little bit differently, I do mine backwards. I'm an illustrator before I'm an author, so I do the illustration. I have the illustrations stuff in my head before I put the words on the page. So I do things backwards. Works for me, does not work for the industry. A lot of industry wants to see the script for it first and then go from there. Because I usually take my words off of this page and then I put them into a document so that they're in script form, and I can make sure that everything's spelled correctly and laid out correctly that way. So, like I said, I do mine backwards in that way. All right, we're coming up on our about 40 seconds until our next set of ads. I guess I should say we're coming up on our next break, right? Our next 3-minute break. Ads will be playing during those 3 minutes, but we are going to pause here and wait for those ads to be done. I'll go grab something more to drink, and then we will come back and keep talking about all things picture books. Or at least all things that I know about picture books at the moment. Trust me, it seems like a really hard process, but it's not that bad. I was surprised at how much you can do for yourself in self-publishing. Alright, should be coming up here any second now. Once the banner pops up, we should be in our ad break. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, sometimes there are gifted subs that come out as well from our wonderful chat members and stuff like that. So if you're enjoying being here and you would like to subscribe to the channel, you can do that. Any of those monies and stuff goes back into the development of these books as well. So even just watching the ads, all that goes back into this. So I appreciate that. So thank you. But you also get a little one-on-one time with me if you subscribe to the channel, where you don't have to watch ads too. So you get a little behind the scenes. There we go. We're in the ad break. Hello, ads. Let's go grab something to drink. I'll be back. How are you? And she would have been really pissed. Hello, people. I'm back. We are almost done with our 3 minutes of ad break. All right. Yeah, Sunny's on here. Ask Sunny. Okay, next week on the 500 Little Things podcast, the food episode, yes.
Do you want actual recipes being posted?
Does he want actual recipes being posted on that stream? Do you want recipes on the stream, Sunny? We'll make sure our ads are back. He's giving me praying hands. I'm not sure what that means. He's thinking, okay, wait, hold on. There's nom nom happening here.
Do you want pictures of Tahoe in an apron?
Do you want pictures of Tahoe in an apron? Wait a minute. Where do you have those?
Only an apron. It says Mr. Tahoe.
He says yes, he does want that. I don't think that's what he agreed to. He said and yes, so he wants both of those things. He wants recipes and Mr. Tahoe in an apron. Wow. Be careful what you wish for, my friend. I have to give to my community. Ooh, that is true. I would give anything. I'll ping Alex on Sunday. There you go. He didn't make it last time. Yeah, I know. I saw that. He came in at the very end. Welcome back, stream. We're back from our break time. A 3-minute break. He forgot to lol. Yeah, he did. It's okay. For those of you watching or listening, I do have a standing desk, so I am standing for these entire 3 hours of these broadcast. Otherwise, my butt would hurt from sitting in a chair all that time. So I try to break it up a little bit. Do some standing, do some sitting. The 3 minutes breaks make it nice because then I can walk around a little bit too, get some blood flowing to the legs. Not a bad little setup I've got going on right now. It's kind of nice. We are in our final hour of our stream for the day here today. There should be a redeem for burpees. No, thank you. I mean, I can burp on stream, but that's the extent of what I would be able to do with that. Look, this is not a let's get physical kind of stream. We do a little bit, but we don't do a lot of it. I think the main goal is to get Sora her treat. And I gotta do better to make that faster. She's very sad and mad at me that I made it last so long. She wants those Treatos now. Which, by the way, Mrs. Tahoe just put in her points. We are at 89,261 of our 100K. So we are within almost 10,000. We are pretty close. Almost ready to get our Treatos. And by Treatos, I do not mean Doritos. That's different. We are almost to our treats. Get some salmon treats. But welcome back. Welcome back from the ad break. We were talking about layouts. Talking about, get all swole during the stream. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. Let's see, can I just put a PDF into this? Is that a thing? I doubt it's gonna let me do that. Holy crap, it let me do it. That's funny. Okay, so once we get all of the words and stuff figured out, this is kind of my layout on how I do. I take all of the word bubbles off of the pages and I put them onto a Google Doc. So I just basically write out all of the everything that is said in the story. So this is probably not how you're supposed to do it, but for me and making sure all my spelling and stuff is correct, this is how I do it. I can't remember. There is something specific that they call it. I can't remember what it is. Let's see if I can remember. I'm trying to look to see. To publisher. What do they call this? This is how bad I am. I know what it's called, but I'm blanking on it right now, so I'm having to look it up now. Manuscript. It's a manuscript. Pretty sure that's what it is. So you have to write your book in a manuscript format. So I don't do that very well. I don't. Like, these are just the words that I have on my, which doesn't really tell you much, right? Because you're not explaining the imagery, you're not explaining what the actions and stuff that are going on. You're like literally not writing the story. So for me, let's just back up. If you are a visual person and you, like I would consider myself an illustrator first, and then an author second. So if you are developing your story through imagery first, then like this is how mine is set up, where I pull the words afterwards and make the manuscript. Probably, like I said, needs way more in-depth information, especially if you're going to submit this to a publisher, because they're going to want to, from what I understand from things that I've talked with other authors about, is that there are two versions of publishing: self-publishing and actually I guess there's technically three, and traditional publishing. So if you're doing traditional publishing, you want to have an agent and you're going to write your children's book, a manuscript. You're going to submit it to the agent. They're going to look at it, be like, yes, I would like to represent this, or try to find some place for this to go. And then they're going to query the traditional publishers and see if they would like to take a risk on it, whether or not it fits their format, what they're looking for, if it's the type of story that they think might sell, what a multitude of things that they might be like yes or no on what you're writing. But the manuscript is the main driver of that. And then what a traditional publisher will do is be like, okay, we like this story. We have, we want to give it to this illustrator, and this illustrator will come up with all of the imagery for this type of book, for this story. So you, as the author yourself, you may never even meet the illustrator that puts your book together. So you can write hundreds and hundreds of books and then never have any real say in what is designed or created for the imagery of those books. You can have you can leave notes and be like, hey, I really need this box to be here because this is important, or I need this character to do this action, or like you can have notes and stuff like that, but you don't really get to dictate what the illustrations end up being in that format or that style. The difference is the publisher and stuff like that is paying the illustrator in those places. Like you end up getting a chunk of money for selling your story to a publisher, and then your name gets to be put on it, but they do all of the other laborious work, marketing and things like that to get it to where it needs to be, making sure the illustrator gets their stuff done and all of those good deeds. The flip side of that is on the self-publishing, you're responsible for all of those things. So that also means that you have more say in what the imagery and stuff looks like. So for me, being the author and illustrator, I get to make all the decisions about all of the things. So I can design the cover to be whatever I want and move things around wherever I want to go, and do what I want, because inevitably it is me who's making all of those decisions and then paying for the changes or the updates or whatever is going to happen with all of those things. Let's bring up the full cover real quick. Okay, so here's the book one. Guides. There we go. So you have to make sure you have your barcodes. You have to make sure all your layouts are correct and that you have all of your templates are the correct size, and nothing's going to get cut off. You're not going to end up with any extra bleed or white or something that's not supposed to be there. For me, I have to manage and make sure all of those things are put together and okay. If you are not the illustrator, but you're still self-publishing, you get to work with and hire your own illustrator to work on this project with. So depending on how you want to set up your conditions with them, you can set up whatever deal you want. You can be like, you draw a page, you send it to me, I look at it, I approve it, we move on to the next one. You can say, draw out the whole book, or give me just a concept, or there's a multitude of different ways that you can set up in that sense how you want to do it. Time frames, money, all of those things. Those are all up to you in that space for sure. Let's see. It's just a different way to do it. If you would like more control over what you're working with and what you're being able to put out there, then the self-publishing way is definitely a better way to do it. You can, if you get super popular or get go viral for some reason and somebody offers you a big deal, you might have a little bit more say over some of the illustrations and stuff like that, but it's still kind of in between. Like you'd have to get really uber popular for you to get to pick on the other side of this for traditional publishing for sure. Here we go. Yeah. So definitely, I'm probably not the best one to ask about manuscript stuff, but there are tons of other authors out there that could definitely give you more information about how that works, especially for children's books and stuff like that. But for me, doing my own self-publishing and building my own setup here for stuff, this works for me at the moment. Or at least it has worked for me twice so far, and I'm getting ready to get the third one rolling as well. So, okay, so now that we have some of the basics done or explained on, setting things up, the one thing I didn't show was I have a file with a lot of concepts for my books. So one of the things I did early on. I started working on book 1, got some of this stuff done, and I decided, you know what, I want to make this into a series. So I actually went through and did like paragraph versions of each of the books and what they were going to be about, titles and stuff like that. Developed certain parts of that I could have for the whole series, so that I could work on book 3 and not just be like, what am I writing about, and just, you know, kind of plot a lot of the things out that I wanted, the little stories that I wanted to tell. And then from there, I could develop each of these pages, these templates and stuff like that, and get them worded out and stuff like that in that way. So it's always good to have any of the stuff kind of set up and ready to go. Let me see. I'm gonna grab a picture real quick. Organization is a huge helper in that space. So we'll explain. We're gonna do this. Crop. Done. We're gonna pull this into our photos. Oh no, where is it hidden at? Minimize. There it is. Okay, so I think we talked about this a little bit last week as well, or a couple weeks ago. For me, this is my organization for basically all of the things that we kind of just talked about. So I have this set up as a file in my computer. I have my Stitch Tales book idea. So this is my layout for my what I was talking about, the paragraphs. This is my document. I can't share it with you right now because it's got still some secret stuff on it. I haven't revealed how many books are in the series quite yet, but we'll get there. This is my like master document for each of the ideas of things that I want to do. This is my master file for my characters and stuff. So we've definitely brought that up on stream a few times before. It looks kind of like this. It is this. So it has like a lot of the faces and stuff, a lot of the actions, background characters, speech bubble sizes, basically all of these things that I can then import or pull into the main illustration file and start to mess with and work with. So this is how I've got my part of this set up. Let's go back to here. So then from there, it's moving down through this scenario. So like I told you, I usually start with this digital story layout. I do these first. Once I get the handwritten ones kind of wrapped up, I do these first. So you can see book 1, 2, and I also have book 3 storyboarded out and ready to go already. And then I go back and do the written versions where these are the manuscript kind of version of them. So I put those two things, the written story. From there, I make all of the files their own Adobe Illustrator files. Let's see. Let's take a picture of this real quick. We'll show that as well. Boom, there it goes. We'll back out real quick. Put this in here. So very similar idea where if I open up this Adobe Illustrator file, inside is all of my pages, right? All of them are numbered. So like this is the front and back of this cover. This is also an extra piece of the front and back cover that are separated because you actually need both, right? You need one that has the full layout so that you can have your spine on it. And then this is the other ones for anytime you do like a digital copy or if you want to make your own samples or whatever. You guys got to see that on the Safari website. Oops, I went to the wrong one. Where it is? Summary. Nice. So if you want to build like these little preview ones, you have to have those separated into each individual piece as well. So it's good to have a little bit of all of them for different things. Go back over here. So that's what the pages look like. This is all laid out. We also have an extra blank in here. This page 1 is a blank. The page 2 is our dedication. Page 3 is our title page. And then our story starts from there. So just like our layout over here, it starts on 4 and goes on from there. 4, 5, 6. So it matches up exactly with what we have set up on our template for sure. From there, once you get all of your pages done, it'll look like this. Those all have to be turned into PNGs. And it looks exactly like these. They're just different file formats. So you have to export those all out to get your finished PNGs. Once you're done with that, they also have to be compressed into a PDF ready file. So most printers require you to put your artwork into a PDF to submit it. There are definitely some restrictions, and for Ingram Spark it was kind of hard to, like, they give a bunch of instructions, but even when you're able to complete some of those instructions and put your file into their downloader to put it onto their site, it still gives you weird little kickbacks every once in a while, being like, this does not have, or blah, blah, blah. Some of those things you just have to, like, I had to do trial and error with my first book, and I had to put the files in, submit it, and then have them print a copy and send it to me so I can see what the difference was. Make sure everything was going to look correct, colors were fine, and that even though they were giving me weird little errors or saying things, that it was still going to print correctly. So definitely with the covers and the PDFs, you have 90 days once you put in your file on Ingram to do free changes. I would definitely, if this is your first book, use those days very efficiently, because it's $25 a piece to make changes afterwards. So definitely submit your files. Once you feel ready and completely to go, make your Ingram account, get your stuff together for your ISBNs and stuff like that, submit, and then have them print a copy and send it to you, because that's going to be very integral to making sure everything is the way you want it to be, for sure. So we've got to get these print ready ones. The other thing that needs to happen during this time, when you're doing your Adobe files and your finished PNGs, is getting your ISBN. So your ISBN is your number that goes onto your book that everybody can then access the information to know what the heck that thing is, right? It's not the little barcode. That's completely different. This is your international number. This is what gets registered with libraries, bookstores, anything like that. This is your kind of like a social security number for your book, is essentially what it is. So this needs to be done while you're doing this part. So by the time you get to the print ready and print cover, this is on to these pages so that you have it. So what that looks like is this guy right here. See this ISBN 9798218328447-4. That is your ISBN number. This is the barcode that is associated with that barcode. This one on the right hand side is your price tag barcode. So, but the number itself, you purchase from the Boker website. And then if you want this barcode, you have to purchase that separately. Those two things you have to get. But this is how your book is recognized basically across the globe, is that number. So you want to make sure that you have that and are ready to go when you do that. If I need to, actually, let's do that real quick. Where is Safari? Where are you? There it is. Okay. This is for anybody in the United States of America, Boker Publishing Services. So www.myidentifiers.com is your main source for ISBNs. You cannot get them anywhere else. Nobody else sells them. If anybody else says they do, it's because they bought them from here and they are reselling them. So you don't have to buy a resold ISBN. You can get them from here for sure. They may be cheaper in some places because the way the ISBNs work, you can actually buy them in bulk. So you can buy 10, you can buy 1, you can buy hundreds, you can buy thousands of them. So this is why you see them in other places for a cheaper price, is because they can buy 1,000 ISBNs and then charge a little bit of a different price for them. So like this, I don't know, let's see what the math is on this. Oops, that's wrong. It's like 66 cents, right? So you can be like, I will sell you an ISBN for $1, and they bought, 1,000 of them. So they are scalpers of ISBNs. Yeah, it's a real thing. They do that all the time. But the hard part about it is and it sounds like a really good deal to be like, oh shit, I can get one ISBN for $125, or I can buy one from this other website for $1, and they're making 40 cents on each one that they sell. It's like, that sounds like a great problem. Is when you buy this 1,000 ISBNs, they're registered to you, so you own them in that way. So if you buy one from one of these other places and you want to do something different with your ISBN, you have to go back to them and get the permission to do something with it. So you always have to be careful with this part of your book publishing. Get rid of that. Goodbye, that guy's banned. You want to be careful with making sure that you're getting your ISBN from the correct place. Ingram Spark and Amazon and even smaller publishing companies, they offer the ability to buy, or you can buy the ISBNs from them. It's the exact same thing. If you decide to get a free ISBN from Amazon when you publish your book, the ISBN they own. You do not own that ISBN because they give it to you for free. So if you want to do anything with your book with that ISBN on it, you have to go get permission from them. They are pretty much unwilling to give you that ISBN literally for free and trade out the rights to it. So if you are planning on doing self-publishing, I know this is a steep price point, $125 for one ISBN. They have different stuff that you can bundle together to get that down a little bit cheaper, but it's worth it. Once you do this and once you register this yourself, it is yours. You can do whatever you want with it. If you want to publish on Amazon with your ISBN, you can do that. If you want to put it on Ingram Spark at the same time, you can do that. You can do with what you want with your ISBN. So definitely make sure to do your research on ISBNs and make sure that you are picking the one that is right for you, and that is the price point that works best for you, for sure. I think for me, my first book and my second book, I did this price point because I wasn't quite sure yet what all was going to happen. I think if my plans continue, I definitely would look into getting the 10 ISBNs for what I'm working on, for a couple different reasons. Right now, I have one book published. Actually, I have two books published, and they are both hardback books. So I had to buy an ISBN for both of those hardcover books, right? If I decide to make a softcover version of that, I have to buy another ISBN. If I want to make a digital version of this and sell it on like Amazon Kindle, I have to buy another version, another ISBN. So every time you make another version of your book, it has to have its own unique ISBN. So currently, since I have two books, if I was going to publish each version, I would need a total of 6 ISBNs. So like buying this 10 pack works perfectly for that, because then I have 4 left over for book number 3 kind of thing. So it's all you kind of have to figure out what your long-term goal is, what's fits in your price points, and how that all works. They've got tons of information on this website. I know lots of videos out there online for ideas on how this works and what's going on and what you should look at. Definitely something to check into. The other part of this is they also offer bundles. So you can buy 10 ISBNs and 1 barcode. So like if you have a book, then it's going to have 10 different versions. You can do that, and then you can have a barcode that goes with that. This kind of, like, I don't know why they don't make it 10 ISBNs and 10 barcodes, but like that seems more correct, but I don't know. But for like this is the one that I purchased for both of my books. I have 1 ISBN and 1 barcode. This way I can get all of the things I needed for the book all done in one place. $150 price tag, much better than I think it's $125. Yeah, $125 for just the ISBN, and I think the barcode by itself is there it is. Yeah, it would have been the same price, but $150 each way. Sometimes they have better deals on stuff like that, but as you go through, there's different deals. They have so many different things, so definitely make sure you're going through and looking at all of the stuff. Sometimes they have promo codes. I haven't really seen too many of those come across, but they do offer that. Also, depending on what type of other stuff you want to put together, whether it's like ebooks or whatever, lots of different stuff. If you want to file a copyright, they have copyright stuff here as well. So definitely make sure you're checking out all of the little pieces and stuff like that of this. But you definitely will need an ISBN, and you definitely will need a barcode for each of your books that you decide to create. So just be aware of that. Past that, let's look at, where's the next one at? Now it's going to make me go here. Next thing you might want to look into is the Library of Congress. So the Library of Congress also has its own number. It doesn't cost anything. You have to apply for it. And it's called an LCCN number. So if you've ever looked inside of opened up a book and you looked inside at the copyright page, which is this page on the book, you'll see sometimes people have dedications. I have a dedication here for my grandmother. But you'll have your copyright, your all rights reserved, all of this good stuff, where your publishing is taking place, and then down here is your Library of Congress catalog card number. So this is the specific number that the Library of Congress gives to you for their catalog. This is not necessary to have. And a lot of companies, big publishers and stuff like that, they'll actually push this off to do it later or differently, or there's different ways to do this, but it's just kind of a fun thing to have for your books. You actually get to send a copy to the Library of Congress, and if for some reason your book becomes popular or whatever, they may pick it to add to their permanent library there in Washington, D.C. So, but it's a good thing to have, showing that you have participated in, submitting your book to the Library of Congress to be cataloged in that way. Definitely helpful. LCCN number. I think also libraries and stuff love when books have the LCCN in it, because then they're able to pull information from the Library of Congress for their own uses as well. All right, so let's go back to here. So that kind of wraps up these two things. So that's kind of where we get to the end of this process for publishing, getting ready to publish your book, right? You have your files ready to go. You have all of your pages separated individually. You have your cover separated into its own thing. You have your ISBN, your LCCN, like these things are taken care of. This is the steps that you're now ready to get ready to submit to either Amazon, KDP, or Ingram Spark. Let's see, we'll log into this real quick and we'll show what that looks like. But you guys don't get to see my login information, so. Okay, here we go. So this is what the Ingram Spark, once you're logged in and you have all your information here. Let's do here we go. That makes it a little bit better. This is your information for each of your books and stuff like that. This was kind of a confusing page for me when I first started out, so I can try to show what I can, but it's kind of wonky. You have to trial and error this a little bit. I think if the streams keep going and they do well, I might be able to show kind of what it is. I have to make sure that none of this is important information that it's going to be a problem to be able to show on stream, but I think we're okay at the moment. But yeah, these are the two titles. They are available. They are ready for global distribution. Gives us our publication dates, the dates we submitted them, the author of them, which would be me, what type of format they're in, and your ISBN numbers as well. So this is your portal for submitting your titles. And then you just pick one of these when you're ready to submit a new one. So you can do print an ebook, print by itself, or ebook by itself. And there are other options to choose when you get ready to submit a book for publication. So that's what that looks like once we get down to the nitty-gritties of stuff. Let me make sure. Past that, this other stuff, this is all my fun stuff. So you can see, like, for book one, I had my own promo file. So if you've been onto my Instagram page or YouTube page or seen any of the shorts, that's basically where all of my promo material from those things goes into. So anything that I've created for them, that's where it all gets stored. So currently book 1 promo stuff is done for me, so that's why it's grayed out. All of this section is grayed out because that's been completed. Book 2 is currently highlighted at the moment because that is in the process, even though, as you can see, all these red dots here, I've completed all the way down to ISBN, LCCN, and then promo materials and Printify and all this other fun stuff. These are currently the places that I'm working on things right now. Also, same goes for book 3. You can see the layout is done and the writing part is done, and we are getting ready to do the illustration files right here. So that's how it's structured for me and how I get my things set up. Hopefully this helps a little bit for people, at least gives you a little bit of an idea. It's not like a tutorial on how to do all of those things. I think if people want a little bit more specifics on how this all really looks and works, definitely let me know, and I will try to show you on stream and stuff. But like as a general overview right now, as we're getting ready to get started on stuff, yeah, this is kind of what's going on, how we get it started, and what's how this all works out for me at the very least. So we can say goodbye to book 1. We can say goodbye to our cover from book 1. Don't want to save that. We don't need that stuff at the moment. And we can get rid of our digital template here. You know what? Do we want to save that? Yeah, let's save that at the moment. Just in case anybody has questions, I can always go back to it. So what does that mean for now? So if you've checked out my books, so we just saw my dedication page. So like this is my title page, right? For book 1. Let's grab the title page for book 2. Title page for book 2. So you can see very similar, but slight differences. Different color and different shapes in the back here, our little diamond shapes here. So we definitely have to figure out our colors. We also need to figure out our shapes that we're going to make in the background for book 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it copy, duplicate, there we go. Here's our copy. Oh, wait a minute. Where's our... Oh, he is on there. Ta-da. There we go. I was like, where'd the character go? These are our center guides. Okay, so this is basically what we have on book 1, right? But it's a copy of what we put there. So now we need to start messing with the conditions to start setting up for book 3. So one of the things that we get to reveal on this stream and talk about right now, since we are getting ready to work on this page, we're going to change out our dots in the background from our circles, and we're going to use squares this time. So we want to basically replicate what we set up over here on our original page. We're not going to change any of the colors yet. We'll do that afterwards once we get ready, but we're going to start getting part of these squares set up. So I think we need to do is just need to get a basic square started here. I think we want to get it about the same size. Yeah, something like that, right? What we're going to do, we're actually going to copy this. We're going to paste it over here. Pretty sure this is how I did it last time. And we're actually going to make this replicate across so that we can make. We're gonna build this pattern is what we're gonna do. So we're going to blend. It doesn't look correct at the moment, but we're going to blend options. We're going to choose the amount of steps. How many of these we actually want to repeat across here. There we go. So we can see it's 20 steps across, and it goes over top of every single one of the circles behind it. Just like that. You can see each of the circles in between. So now that we've done that, I actually did it wrong. We don't want to be able to see those. We want to make a new layer and put them on there. We want to be able to swap them out. So that's basically what we're going to do. I think what I want to do first, though, yeah, I have to remember. So it's been almost a year now. I have to remember how I did all of this last time. I think I did this wrong already. I think I want to do top to bottom first. Okay, so let's get rid of that for now. Copy, paste here. We're going to shift. Wait, what are you doing? There we go. Okay, so we want to go up here. I want to scale this down. Whatever this size is, give or take. Maybe 30? No, it's too. I think it's 25. Let's go down to 25. Yeah, there we go. So we're going to select the top point and the bottom point. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to blend it, and then we're going to tell it to give it the blend options and pick how many steps we want. We want them to match, yeah, like that, 20. So it's 20 up and 20 wide. Yep, there we go. So we're going to we're actually going to expand that so it creates each individual box in that. We'll actually ungroup it so that we can pull each one if we need to. And we're actually going to copy this, paste it, and then move it all the way over here and line it up. I think we have to group these two. That's grouped. Let's group these. So then we can select these two. And we're going to do the exact same process. Make. And then we're going to change the blend options. Blend options. Steps. This goes down to 20. There we go. And we have squares. And we want to expand that. Bam, there we go. We have everything selected. Ungroup all. Okay, so everything should be ungrouped, so we should be able to pick each individual. Okay, cool. Then we're going to take this, we're going to group it, and we're going to paste it because we need to take and shift this one to the left to make sure that all of our spaces are filled up. So we're going to have something like this when we get done. And I might have to finagle it a little bit once we get done with off of stream. I'll probably mess with some of these settings and stuff like that afterwards to make sure that it's definitely fits what I need it to fit. But for now, we can do that. We can find out what my settings were for these guys. So it was an overlay 25%. So let's get rid of those circles. Oops. Okay, so we're going to do overlay 25%. Bam, there we go. And it gives us our background for our first page. So this is one of those things where if you look at all of my previews for other pages and stuff like that, the dots or the diamonds and stuff like that I use, that's universal across all the pages. So once we get this pattern set up exactly the way I want, because I definitely don't like how these corners overlap. So I'm definitely gonna have to change that a little bit with my setup, but we get the basic idea, right? Like we're going to change it to squares, and that's going to be for the story that we're working on. Yeah. And then we can start messing with colors and all of that stuff, and get our title in here and change up all this stuff. At some point, definitely, because the cover is a little bit of a mix, I tend to work on the pages first, and then if I have an idea, like for the first book, the cover was easy because I knew it was pretty simple. Second book, a little bit different, but I did a bunch of development on the book pages first, and then put some of those elements into the cover and then developed the cover from there. So I made sure that it was congruent across each other, and then any of the little elements that are in the story, I pulled those for the back cover of the book as well. But you can see our difference here. This is our circles. That is definitely not the correct preview for this. Adobe is freaking the crap out right now. Should probably save this. Okay. Hello, save this, please. Don't lose my work. Okay, same idea. Here's the diamonds. Here's our little difference that we put together. Here he's got little trail of grass because this was a backyard treasure hunt. So he was outside playing in the grass and exploring. So where this one was basic, just a basic setup. The other thing that we can change pretty quick right here, right now, is we can put a number 3 on there. Because this will be for book number 3. All right, we are, let's save this again real quick. We are sadly just about to our last bit of ads here for the day, our last break for the afternoon before we roll up our stream. So I'm hoping that today's stream was kind of fun. You guys got to learn a lot about me, what I've done throughout my life and career. Kind of a way of showing what's been going on. Hopefully I can like break some of that apart and make little videos and stuff out of it too as well. I think that's kind of why I wanted to do some of that. But yeah, we got a little bit of process, a little bit of background information about, you know, putting certain things together, what to look for, and if people have interest in me putting up that template so that they can use it on their own or use it as a reference to build their own, yeah, please let me know. I would be happy to put that up for you on my DeviantArt page, for sure. Let me grab... Yeah, we're about a minute and 30 seconds out from our next break here. What was I going to... Oh yeah, I was going to promo some of the other stuff on our Canva once we get back. Yeah, we started. Hey, look, we started a thing today. We got there. It took a little bit, but we got there. That's one of those things that I can also refer people back to this video to and be like, yeah, I dove into a little bit of who I am and what's, you know, some of the basic stuff, but feel free to leave a comment about any questions that you have, and I'll be happy to answer it live on stream at some point. I know there's probably some better systems that I could put together. I know for some streamers, they have queues that they can then pull from for questions and things like that. We're not quite there yet. We're maybe someday, but we'll see. And we're going to take a quick 3-minute break. If you need to go get something to drink or the bathroom, go do that for sure. And then once the ads are done, then we'll roll up for the afternoon and go from there. Give me a chance to walk around for a little bit, get a little exercise on me, and then come back after those 3 minutes are done. Hey, there we go. Ads are up and running. I'm gonna go check on the puppies real quick. I'll be right back. She can lay in the shower if she wants. I think Sora's gonna go lay in the shower. She's very hot. It's a very hot day here. I think I gotta figure out when I'm like trying to work on illustrations and stuff, but not reveal the title of the book. But I think I can do some of this background stuff today and then Wednesday, and then I might have to reveal the title on Friday because we're gonna get too far into the weeds here where then the story is gonna kind of reveal what the title is and what it's about. Maybe I just go for it. Maybe we just let it all be. I've got a couple secrets to still hold on to, but maybe this is just an open book thing this time. It's all about the process. I heard that's a big thing now is especially with the advance of AI art and stuff like that, is they want to see the work. So maybe I'm doing the right thing here. We'll see. Hello, stream. Welcome back. Hopefully ads have completed on your side of the of this equation here. On your side of the stream. I went and Sora got let in. She's a very hot dog. She is very mad at me though because she wants to go lay in our back bedroom and she's not allowed to go lay back there right now. Because the cat is not allowed to go lay back there because the cat keeps having issues back there, so both of them are locked out. So she's trying to find another place to go cool off and lay down. So there was a possibility she was going to go find a shower to go lay down on, or lay down inside of. So that did not happen. So here we are. Okay, so let's do our wrap up for the day. Give me a second. We're going to, here we go. I want these two things. Okay, I'll switch over to Canva real quick. I want to thank everybody for coming by. I want to thank Sunny for dropping by and hanging out with me and talking with me this whole time. I want to thank B-Shack, especially thank B-Shack because he reminded me I needed to turn on our commands for our bot. Thank you, Ghost Guy, for coming by and talking for a little while on stream. Appreciate that. Dreamer was here as well. She donated her points for a friend. Which we are currently at 89%. So we are pretty dang close to getting a special treat for Sora. Probably this week, probably Friday, I would say. Probably another 10,000 points and we'll be there. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming by and watching. I hope this was a fun, informational episode today. I will be back on Wednesday for another art/book stream. But we also have, let's see, look at our schedule. Here's our schedule for the week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Monday, Fridays. Wednesdays is a little bit shorter because school schedules make it so that I have to go pick up a daughter at an earlier time. And then Sunday, we have our 500 Little Things podcast that we do, me and Mrs. Tahoe, me and Dreamer, from 7 to 9 in the evening time. So if you're interested in hearing us talk about life and all of the things in between, then come by and say hi during our stream. But other than that, let's see, what else? There was something else that I forgot. I'm forgetting. Oh no. Oh no, I don't remember. Podcast. Oh no, I know what it is. I need to publish the podcast onto YouTube. That was the other thing. But yeah, that's what we got going on. I will be back on Wednesday. Hopefully we'll be able to start working and making some good progress on our illustrations and get going more on that and reveal some of our secrets, the color for our upcoming book and the title and hopefully our story and stuff. So thank you all for coming by and I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Bye everybody. Bye Sunny. Thank you.